South Africa joined the BRIC grouping in 2011 at a time when emerging economies were tipped to outgrow most developed nations. Just 4 years later, the BRICS economic powerhouse seems to be crumbling.
So the whole BRICS story and the sexiness around the BRICS, I think, has fundamentally changed in 2015. We've seen a realignment in terms of the role of the BRICS in terms of the global economy.
Brazil and Russia are in recession. China is slowing. So from our perspective, it's only India that is growing at still a reasonably strong pace. But that's not enough to lift the BRICS, and it's not enough to encourage investment and capital flows into emerging markets.
South Africa, the smallest economy of the grouping, joined BRICS at the invitation of China. The move was hailed as a major step up for the economy that would represent the rest of Africa. But South Africa is now reporting one of the weakest growth levels on the continent, with job losses mounting, muted growth and a sharp contraction in many of its key industries, such as mining and manufacturing. There is concern that Africa's second largest economy will soon follow Brazil and Russia into recession.
The growth rates in South Africa have been disappointing, and they've slowed up quite substantially. So we don't think that we have an outright recession, but clearly there's a risk that if things continue to deteriorate, South Africa could go into recession.
The Reserve Bank decided to keep its key repo rate unchanged at 6%. The move was largely expected, even though there are growing concerns about the weakening rand and its impact on inflation. But the South African economy is struggling, and economists had warned a rate hike now would have pushed the economy into recession. The Reserve Bank lowered its growth forecast for the economy down to 1.5% for 2015 from its earlier forecast of 2%. While the deteriorating global economic conditions persist, South Africa is struggling with a number of domestic challenges, which include power shortages, labor strife and rising unemployment.
The bigger concern for me is the possibility of a ratings downgrade, because that has a more long-term impact in terms of the ability to borrow. It has a long-term impact in terms of companies and their abilities to be part of the broader economy. And that's quite a concern, because we're starting to see a strong possibility of a ratings downgrade for South Africa in the next 6 months.
It's not clear whether the government will look at any emergency plan to revive the economy. For now, the National Development Plan remains policy. However, analysts say the plan needs urgent implementation. It's hoped Finance Minister Nhlanhla Nene will offer some inspiration in the medium-term budget speech next month. Sumitra Nadu, CCTV, Johannesburg.